Convicted of sex crimes as a man, felon no longer deemed threat because of gender change. Yes, you heard that correctly, ladies and gentlemen. This vile piece of human trash right here, a man who has already been convicted of sexual crimes and rapes against children ranging from ages 1 to 13, is now being let out of prison because he now identifies as a woman. In fact, the Attorney General agrees that his hormone treatment therapy is reducing the possibilities of him reoffending, and therefore he is now being let out of prison simply because he now identifies as a female. So in this video, we're going to look at this Des Moines Register article that sparked all of the controversy. We're also going to point to some past examples here of where hormone treatment therapy didn't exactly lower a pedophile's and a convicted sex offender's sex drive. We have the case of Karen White, how manipulative transgender inmate attacked again. This is what he looked like as far back as March of 2018. This convicted sex offender then went into prison as a trans woman. He requested that he be transferred to a female prison. The courts obliged, and wouldn't you know it, he ended up going on to sexually assault 2 other female inmates. We're also going to look at just how far this kind of stuff can go if we allow it to continue. We have this trans age convicted pedophile claims says he identifies as an 8-year-old girl. I've always been an 8-year-old girl, he says, and even in my drawings and fantasies, I'm always an 8-year-old girl. And wouldn't you believe it, this pedophile wants to have all the child porn found on his laptop protected under the First Amendment. We're also going to take a look at some local cases, like here in Canada, where we have a Brampton mayor who's blasting the feds for releasing this monster child molester in his city. This piece of work right here is a guy who's molested up to 60 young girls in British Columbia, but he's now roaming free in Brampton, Ontario, because he identifies as a woman. So we're going to cover all of this insanity and much more in today's video, guys. But before we do, I'd ask that you check out this GoFundMe campaign called PFT Demonetized. If I had $1 for every subscriber, we can make the MSM obsolete. In case you didn't know, guys, back in June of 2019, I got this letter from YouTube. It says, "Hi, Press for Truth. During a recent review, our team of policy specialists carefully looked over the videos you've uploaded to your channel, Press for Truth, and we found that a significant portion of your channel is not in line with our YouTube partner policies. As of today, your channel is not eligible to monetize, and you will not have access to monetization tools and features." And on the exact same day that they demonetized my channel, guys, they removed this video from YouTube, which still exists on bitchute.com/pressfortruth today. It's titled "PEDOSEXUALS Exposed. Warning, children are being sexualized at an extremely young age," where I do just that. I expose pedophiles and the fact that young children are being sexualized. This is the video YouTube had removed from my channel on the same day that they demonetized my channel. But I am absolutely not going to allow that to cause me to stop talking about these kinds of things, guys. So if that's something you appreciate, please check the links right here on the screen or in the description below to find out how you can financially support the efforts of this channel to bring you this kind of information. Alright, so as we said, we have this vile piece of human trash, a man who's already been convicted of sexually offending young children, who is now claiming to be female, and the Attorney General in the case is actually siding with him, saying, yeah, the hormone treatment is likely going to reduce his chances of reoffending. This from the Des Moines Register. The Iowa Attorney General's office is no longer seeking the commitment of a former Midwest Christian Services student convicted of a myriad of sex crimes because the individual now identifies as a woman. Court records show the state dismissed the application on January 9th. Attorney General spokesman Lynn Hicks wouldn't comment on the reason for the dismissal other than to say, get this, an offender's hormone levels are an important part of substantiating an offender's likelihood of recidivism. Really? So the hormone levels you're suggesting are going to, what, reduce the sex drive? Well, that didn't exactly happen in the case of Karen White, how manipulative transgender inmate attacked again. Get a load of this. Transgender politics, like any politics, can be divisive. Yet in the case of Karen White, who is legally still a man but was put in a female-only prison, both sides of the transgender rights debate are united in the belief that mistakes were made. While entered the UK prison system as transgender, however, despite dressing as a woman, the 52-year-old had not undergone any surgery and was still legally a male. I find it ridiculous that this Guardian article is pandering to this pedophile's delusion and referring to him as his preferred gender pronoun. I think that's ridiculous, but at any rate, the article goes on to say she was also a convicted pedophile and on remand for grievous bodily harm, burglary, multiple rapes, and other sexual offenses against women. In September last year, she was transferred to Newhall Prison in West Yorkshire. During a 3-month period at the female prison, she sexually assaulted 2 other inmates. So this guy right here, who just as little as back in March of 2018 decided to transition into this, went into the prison, which was agreed upon by the courts, and sexually assaulted 2 other female inmates. I can't believe those women had to have this monster put into a tiny cell with them. That's just absolute insanity. Well, now we have the Attorney General here claiming that that's exactly the case of what's going to happen with this reoffending sex offender. In November, the Storm Lakes Times reported that Joseph Matthew Smith, 23-year-old, convicted of molesting a fellow MCS student in 2014, was undergoing medical treatment that is needed prior to Smith potentially undergoing gender reassignment surgery. Smith has received treatment for gender reassignment over the past 2 years at Newton Correctional Facility. Do you understand the implications there and what that means? Smith has received treatment for gender reassignment for 2 years at the correctional facility. That means that is paid for by the taxpayers, by you, the American taxpayers. You're the ones who are paying for this convicted pedophile's transition while he's in reassignment, while he's in a correctional facility. She said she first expressed a desire to get started. This article too, referring to this convicted pedophile as a she, is ridiculous, but at any rate, it says she first expressed a desire to get started on transgender clarification in October of 2017 and started using female pronouns. Smith has expressed a preference to identify as Josie, according to the court documents. We don't believe we have evidence sufficient to prove Josie Smith. Even the courts are kowtowing and catering to the delusions of this pedophile by referring to him as a female name and even referring to him as a her. It says Josie Smith has a significant chance of... they don't have evidence to prove he has a significant chance of reoffending, Hicks said last week. An Iowa Department of Corrections spokesman said Smith was transferred on Saturday to the Sioux City Residential Treatment Facility for transitional release. He did not say when Smith will be released. But don't worry, the Attorney General assured us here that precautions are being taken. Hicks cautioned the public not to overreact here to Smith's upcoming release. Smith will be subjected to sex offender registrations requirements for the rest of her life, Hicks said, which includes regular meetings with the probation officer and a listing of an Attorney General clearinghouse. Josie Smith will be subject to strict sex offender reporting requirements of those who commit the crimes that she did, Hicks says. She will be subject to supervision for the rest of her life. So again, they're painting this individual as if she is a female sex offender, when the reality of the case is the fact that he is a man, and he is now trying to get out of the court system simply by claiming to be a woman. Well, we've seen how that has gone before. We see this one. Brampton Mayor blasts feds for releasing monster child molester in his city. A convicted pedophile with a lengthy history of preying on young girls is now living as a woman in a Brampton halfway house. The mayor goes on to say, upon learning of the serial child molester in his city, he fired off a letter to the federal minister of public safety expressing his outrage. It is completely unacceptable that Matthew Harks, now Madeline Harks, has been duped by Correctional Services Canada in Brampton. Dumped by Correctional Services. He wrote in a letter to Ralph Goodale on Saturday. This is a pedophile with multiple convictions, including 3 convictions of sexual assault against girls under the age of 8, and this monster has claimed to have victimized 60 girls. The fact that Mr. Hicks is in a halfway house instead of jail is a clear example of how our justice system is broken. Well, no, I would venture to say it's not broken at all. In fact, it is very fixed. This is what the police had to say about it. Police said she is believed to be at an elevated risk to reoffend, so they will be working with correctional services to monitor Hark's activities within the community. And the part that really ticked me off here was how the article ended, guys. It says, members of the public are reminded that although Madeline Harks does present a safety risk to the public, she remains a Canadian citizen, and her rights are guaranteed under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. What? Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, no. If you sexually molest young children, you've thrown your charter rights completely out the window. And if this is what they're going to allow in society today, just how bad is this going to get? Well, like I said, we have this case of the trans age guy who's trying to, convince the judge that he is identifying as an 8-year-old girl and therefore should be able to do the things that he's done. It says here, a sex offender convicted on charges of child pornography claimed in court that he identifies as an 8-year-old girl. Joseph Gobricht, 45, was first apprehended by authorities when a missing 17-year-old girl was found at his residence. Upon investigating, police found explicit child pornography on his computer. Gobricht said to the judge, "I've always been an 8-year-old girl, and even my drawings and fantasies, I'm always an 8-year-old girl." Representing himself, he also claimed that the illegal images, some of which depicted infants and small children being sexually assaulted, were protected by the First Amendment. Now, I'm happy to say that the judge rejected that defense, sentencing this pedophile to between 15 and 20 years in prison, and rightly so. As the article goes on to say, it seems that for now, at least, our insanity does have some limits. We're willing to call a big male sex offender a she, if he asks nicely, and we'll even lock him up with other girls. But trans age? Well, that's just going too far. Well, I would agree, guys, but that's just as it is today, that they're putting the kibosh on this. Well, what's it going to look like tomorrow? I mean, this has been a slow progression. This has been an incremental move to where we're getting to the point of guys like this being let out of prison simply for calling himself a woman. A little bit of context here and backstory on this individual. In case you didn't know, this man himself was sexually molested as a child at the young age of 7. This guy doesn't need drugs and hormone treatment. He needs therapy. He doesn't need surgery. He needs a psychologist. He needs psychiatry. He needs therapy. He needs spiritual help, ladies and gentlemen. No amount of drugs or surgery is going to be able to help this individual. And certainly releasing him into the public is not going to help society. This is just getting absolutely insane. And then you have people like me who speak out against this. You may recall the case of Jonathan, aka Jessica Yaniv, who I called out on Twitter. Well, I was suspended from Twitter for saying that a man is not a woman and for referring to Jessica Yaniv as a him, as I pointed out in this video, showing how, I spoke out against this guy, saying he's abusing people, he's using the Canadian system as a trans rights activist to abuse others, and I was the one who was, suggested as being hateful and removed from Twitter. So that just goes to show you guys just how far this slippery slope is leading. That's why I wanted to bring this one to your attention today, guys. This is the Des Moines Register article that sparked the whole controversy. Convicted of sex crimes as a man, felon no longer deemed threat because of gender change. It's hard to believe we've gotten to this point, but lo and behold, we have. So I wanted to show you that. In particular, the reason why I brought up this case is to show you where these things are leading, guys. They're normalizing pedophilia in society, and if today this guy can be released from prison, tomorrow this guy is not even going to go to prison. So if you appreciate my efforts to bring you this information today, guys, please share this video. Spread it around with your friends and family. Let them know this stuff is going on and it has to be rejected at every incremental move. Also, click the thumbs up button. It really does help with YouTube's algorithms that are designed to stop this type of info from being seen. And be sure to subscribe to this channel, as I'm going to cover this types of stuff moving forward, despite the fact that YouTube is pulling these kind of videos from my channel and demonetizing my channel for doing so. As I said in the beginning, I'm not going to allow them to shut me up about these incredibly important matters. So if you appreciate that, guys, again, please share the video, click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to check the links in the description to find out how you can financially support our efforts here at Press for Truth. And that's all for today, my friends. I want to thank you for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.